This is episode one.
Episode 1.
Episode one. This is, we're going to basically do this as often as we can, but we're going to go ahead and come together, both Raph and
So
I.
if you do have questions,
Yes.
you can just send us.
Put them in the
We're
comments.
gonna start collecting them and seeing the most interesting one, the most common, the most popular ones, and then we're gonna work on it. Okay. So today we have about 5 questions, and we're gonna go over them. Gabe has a more technical and more scientific take on things, and I'm just gonna talk a little more in a different way. That way you guys can have a different understanding, a different point of view when it comes to this. Okay. Of course, we are gonna basically be on the same page in a lot of things here, but just the way you see things, it might be a little different, all right? And it might help you to understand different ways.
Right. And I think that in giving each perspective, one from you in more of a seasoned trainer,
Right.
I think that is something where you've seen a lot more than I have, whereas I'm kind of fresh to this, but I've been training for at least 3 or 4 years, so I've done my own research, but in terms of really putting my mind to the scientifics and the nitty gritty of it,
Right.
this is my first take on it, and seeing, giving you my insight on what I've found success in, and of course what
And
Raph.
this is just our opinion, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
We totally suggest you do your own research, you know what I mean? You do your own, take your time and do your own Google, your own YouTube, do what you gotta do. But this is what we think is work for us or for the majority of our clients, majority of people that we see at the gym. So we just pretty much talking through our own experience when it comes to this.
Right. Exactly. So we're going to start with 5 commonly asked questions and topics in the gym that you might be confused about that we're going to answer for you. So question number 1, how important is time under tension? Now, you want me to start or you want you?
You can go.
Okay. So I think time under tension is key, right? The reason for that is, of course, I think that is the most important thing that puts our muscles into hypertrophy, which is obviously how our muscles are growing. It's building that muscle. It is strengthening that muscle, making sure that we keep proper tempo, making sure that we keep slow, focused, and controlled, which if you've watched my videos, that's exactly what I say always, is that slow, focused, and controlled mentality. Making sure that we're not just flinging up the weight, but rather making sure that we keep our muscles, especially in that eccentric position, under tension. You will feel it so much more, at least I feel in my experience, you'll feel it so much more, you'll get a better pump, you will definitely be fatigued maybe a little bit quicker. However, it's a good fatigue, and it is definitely to the point where you're gonna see results, and you're gonna see results fast. At least in my experience, in my 6 months of doing this cut and really focusing on my time under tension, I've seen great success in it.
So let me break it down real quick what we mean by time under tension, right? So if you're doing a bicep curl, right? That time that you're gonna take from all the way from a straight all the way to the finish, for the end of your curl, the tension that you're putting on that movement, that time that you take, right? That's what we talk about, the time under tension. Some people can do like this, boom, that's 1 set, 1 rep, right? 2 rep, 3 rep. So what we're talking about, the time under tension is this. Maybe you came into the plan of doing 3 seconds. So this is what I'm gonna take. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the time that you put the tension on the muscle, that's what we're talking about it. That's what Gabe said that he thinks is ideal, is key, right, to help to growth on the muscle. Okay, time under tension. That's what we're talking about, right?
Exactly. Yep. And I think that if you really want to get technical with it, you could, like you said, you could do like those 3 seconds, or make it like 2 seconds here, 5 seconds here, or whatever. But just making sure that you have in your head and in your mind the most control possible, especially not only with the time, but over your muscles, that mind-muscle connection. It's really gonna allow you to hone in and focus on that, which is super, super important and a great way to see results for growth.
Fun fact: if you do Google, if you do some research, or really scientific research on time under tension, what you're gonna find out is that depending how you do it, there is not much difference on doing a regular workout or doing a workout focused at time under tension. I'm gonna try to explain real quick, because time under tension is gonna take more time to do those reps, right? because you really focus. It's so much attention right there, so you're burning, you're burning, you're burning, you're burning. Now, if Gabe is working this way, if let's say he's doing a 3 seconds, right, under tension right here, he's gonna do 10 reps. He's tired, right? And me with the same weight, I might be able to do 20 reps until I get tired the same way he gets tired.
Right.
Okay? So depend here what's your goal for the day or how you want to take your workouts. But like he said, it is key. Okay? And it's great for control, great for learning form, great for learning how to feel the heavy weight with you, right? So you can progress later on. So time under tension is a beautiful thing for new clients, for new people at the gym, right? Like he said, he's new on this plan right now, and I know he like it because it's great. He can really focus on the muscle. He's really feeling the pump, really feeling the contraction on the muscle. That doesn't mean that it's the best thing to do, but it does work. Okay, that's why we came to the conclusion. That's not means it's the best thing to do, but it definitely works because it's gonna give you a perfect workout when it comes to form, when it comes to understanding your muscle connection and making the movement 100%. Because this is the most important part. Is always the form. It's always like making the connection, muscle connection, mind, body, right? And you're not just throwing the weights and stuff like that. So time under tension comes here and really put things in place because you really got to focus now. You got to take your time and do it nice. That way you can see your form, you can see your posture and everything. Right?
Exactly. 100%. And also just tiny end side note, it is also great because it hopefully will prevent to less injuries. Because with throwing up weight sometimes, jerking motion, stuff like that, you could really do something and you might not even realize it. So if you make sure that you have that control and that focus, it's going to lead to far less injuries, as long as you're doing it the way that you should be doing it. So,
Yep, that's what we talk about, time under tension. So yes, it is important.
Yes.
It is key, but you got to know how to use it. Okay?
Exactly.
Next question.
Number two,
how important it is to track the weight you are using, the reps that go with it. Repeat the question, go.
How important is it to track the weight that you're using and the reps that go with it? Okay, so whether that be you use an app to log it or you bring a notebook and you write it down, you go old school, how important is it, right? For me, I have to do it, right? Not only, would I suggest that you do it, but I think it's important that you do it because it's going to allow you to progressively overload, right? So when you go into the gym the next time, let's say you were doing a back and biceps day, right? And you're doing 40-pound curls, okay? You're doing 40-pound curls. The next time you go in, you're like, okay, like I did like 40 pounds for like 10, 12 reps, right? Which is a good range. That's where you should be. Maybe you're like, okay, I see that I've done that. Let me go 45. Let me see what I can do at 45. Then you hit 10 or you hit a decent rep range for 45, right? But if you didn't remember what you did the last time, you would have never known. You would have been like, oh, where am I? You know what I mean? Like, am I supposed to be at 40? Am I supposed to be at 35? Am I supposed to be higher? You could absolutely feel the weight out. You could absolutely see what your body, you could listen to your body, absolutely. But in terms of just having something concrete and not having to worry about it and knowing on pen and paper or on your phone, hey, this is where I'm at and this is where I want to be, or this is how much weight I should add so that I can see progress and see my strength increase and see growth, I think it's super important to write it down. Whatever is the most convenient way for you to do that, but I think starting to do that, I think you'll see definitely exponential growth, and it keeps you motivated and dedicated to chase a number, when you see it, when you actually visualize it.
Yep. Once again, I'm basically a bodybuilder, right? Like I am a bodybuilder. I'm a professional bodybuilder in the FBB Pro League, and we love talking about that, because a lot of bodybuilders, they are old school, but they are old school that they just want to work out, They just want to throw the weights and they just want to, pick things up and put them down, and right? That whole cliche. But it is true because that's the fun part for us. But if you really try to take things serious, you really should think about it, tracking things, because it's a beautiful thing. If you Google, like for example, Milo is one of the best coaches out there. for bodybuilders. And Milo has his books are beautiful. He had the logins from like 1995. He had it. You see how much weight he did, what he ate that day. How many reps he did, what was the weight from. It's beautiful, and you can see the progression on paper. So just like Gabe said, that's a beautiful thing to track things and make sure that you are not getting a plateau, you're not staying stagnant in a place, and you can really progress. So yes, I think everybody should find a way to track. If you don't want to track on your phone, you can track with a book, or even better. Nowadays, we are on YouTube days, social media days. Everybody has a phone. Just record.
Right.
You can see your squats, or you can see your deadlift, whatever it is, right? Record, and then you can really look back and see like where I was and stuff like that. Yep. So yes, we definitely recommend that.
Yes, 100%. All right, question 3. What should your daily protein intake be? I'll have you start first.
That's a very interesting question because it's all over the place. It's all over the place. I do believe by the American Association, the number is like 7 something.
Yeah, it's
right?
Like 0.7,
0.8, per body pound.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
But once again, I'm talking on my experience. I'm talking about as a coach, as a personal trainer. I do a pound. I do 1 gram.
Yep.
That's I think everybody should start. If you are a female, you could start lower for sure.
Right.
But a couple of things that we really should worry about it or take in consideration here when you talk about protein, you really got to see about your gut health. Right. Your digest system, how your metabolism works for you. There is different proteins that do different things, right? Protein, when you really break down, each protein has a couple like the essential amino acids on it. So if you're only doing red meat, you're gonna be different if you're only doing fish, or if you're only doing chicken, right? Or if you're even only doing protein shakes. So you also got to take consideration on that. But overall, if you're going to think about it, if you want to go by the association, by the America or whatever, they're about like 0.7, 0.8. But if you ask me if I'm going to start writing a diet for a client, I'm probably going to start about like, 1, and then we go from there. Of course, I'm going to ask the client about like how you feeling, how's your gut, are you bloated, all those things, so we can really have a good diet and make sure that you really actually using those proteins.
Right.
That's how I'll think about it.
Yeah. No, and I would 100% agree. I definitely think stick more to the 1 gram, per pound of body weight. And when I was actually doing the research for the cut that I'm coming off of soon,
right,
they actually suggested that you should do whatever you wanted to be at in grams of protein for the cut. So that was just a little tidbit that I found that worked for me.
Right.
But because I tracked and watched my protein intake so adamantly and tracked those macros and everything, even while being on this cut, I did not feel like lower energy. It wasn't lower energy. I still had my strength. I still had my endurance, all that kind of stuff. So making sure that you, especially if like you're actually training and coming in here often and trying to be consistent and see growth, making sure that you have that protein intake as the foundation and tracking that is paramount to making sure that you're going to see progress in here.
Right. So it's also interesting because Gabe is, he's on a cut, right? And you definitely should take consideration if you are on a cut, or if you are on a maintenance phase, or if you are on a bulking phase. Those things will definitely determine how your protein is going to change.
Exactly.
If you are on a growth, on a bulking phase, you actually don't need too much protein.
Right.
Because now you also need a lot of carbs as energy, as fuel, and everything. Because now you're working out and you're going hard. So your protein, can be on a 1. Maybe 1.2, nothing crazy. However, if you are on a cut, I would suggest you can lower your carbs, and you can actually increase your protein. You're raising your protein because you are on a cut. You don't need that much carbs. Right. So you have that. You need to know what phase are you on your fitness journey. So you can really apply the protein the right way.
Right. 100%. Yep. Couldn't agree more. All right. Question 4.
Number 4.
When should you increase the weight you are using? So let's say, like how we had mentioned earlier, an example, like when should you come into the gym and, the next time you do those bicep curls, should you increase, right? How's the determination of that? Or even when you're in between sets, maybe you hit a weight for a decent amount, and it's like you're banging out like 15, 20 reps, which is a pretty high volume. And if you're not maybe necessarily going for volume, you're like, all right, this is light, maybe I should increase the weight. When should you do that? I think that each time you go in, you should improve. So even if it's a little bit of weight that you add on, if it's possible, you should. Even to just hit a PR or to just go ahead and push yourself forward. I think it helps with the strength training, and I think it helps with pushing yourself mentally as well. I normally gauge it and I do normally lower reps when I go ahead and actually work out and lift. I do higher intensity, lower reps. So let's say I'm doing like 45-pound hammer curls, right? And I can hit that for 10. That for me is my mark and my note that I should increase the weight, whether it be 5 pounds or however much it be. That's my note. Okay, I hit 10, I should go up. Then by there, I can normally gauge based off of what I've done historically, how many I'm going to do at that weight. Normally it's anywhere between like 6 to 8. But because I'm training with higher intensity and I'm not doing as many sets, not as much volume, it works for me. But if that is almost applied to other principles and same principles, whether it be for volume or whatever it may be, I think it's always good to increase the weight, or at least try to, when you come in.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a different take, just so you learn how to be sensitive about your body. Okay, because a lot of the times you're by yourself, or even if you're with a friend, working out with a friend is even worse because he's gonna try to push you,
right?
And maybe you're not ready for that push yet. Okay, so yes, that's what I'm saying. You gotta learn how to be sensitive about your body, about how you're feeling, and if you can push that day or not. Okay, so I have this little saying, right, that I want you to learn. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you learn the weight, you understand how that feel. Let's say at 45 pounds, right? So you learn the weight.
Right.
Okay, now you know it's a 45. So you're gonna work with the 45 until you master the 45. Once you master the 45, now you're gonna progress. Okay, so that's basically when you do like a workout program. It's just 3-4 weeks. Right. So you work on that weight for about 3-4 weeks so you can progress. That way we can, prevent some injuries and stuff like that. And you really know that you really mastered the 45, and now you're really ready to do a 55 or even a 65. Okay. Now but when do I know if I'm ready for that push? Well, if you did a 45 and you felt like, I have 2 or 3 more on the tank, I think it's ready.
Yes.
I think it's time to go heavier.
Yep.
What I'm talking about, once again, is sensitivity. All right? This is your workout. This is not what is on the paper. This is not what Gabe is saying. That's not Raph is saying. It's your workout. You got to learn how to be sensitive so you can increase. Like Gabe said, yes, it's important to increase. It's important to progress. We try every workout, okay? But there is a time for everything. So make sure you master the weight and you're really secure about the weight. So now you can really feel good about it going up. Right. You know what I mean? You should not be scared to try to do heavier.
Right.
You might feel some type of way because that's your first time, but not scared. So that means you're ready to go. So if you're doing a 45, whatever it is, right? That's just an example. You're doing a 45 and then you came to that point that after a whole set on 45, you could have done 3 more reps. You know it's time to grow.
Yep.
It's time to increase the weight, So think about it as sensitivity next time you do your workouts, okay?
Yeah. And I think also the biggest takeaway from that too is making sure you listen to your body.
Right.
Listening to your body and also understanding patience, because which something that I didn't mention is that simple fact that you mentioned. You have to listen to your body, and it might not always come. You know what I mean? You might want to strive for that.
You should try.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you might not get it.
Right. Yeah, and sure, it might feel like I didn't get that. Like it sucks. You know what I mean? It's that off feeling, but as long as you keep going, as long as you keep that consistency with it, you're going to get it. So, all right.
Okay.
Last question. Now, before we preface this question, obviously we're not doctors. You know, this is just our opinion on this. But I've had this question multiple times from multiple different people. What are the bare minimum vitamins or supplements that you should consider taking if they're not already in your regimen or diet? Right. So for me, I think
Before
three.
anything, if you really need, please talk with your doctor.
Yes. Yes.
Okay?
100%.
And make sure you're clear from your doctor
Yes.
to take any different vitamin that you're not taking right now, any supplement.
Right.
Please talk with your doctor or go from there.
Right.
This is just our recommendation. What we see on the market, what we have, like he said, people ask us all the time, and those are the most common, the most more popular, the most that make sense when you are on your fitness journey.
Right.
Okay?
Exactly. So my three, I just have three, and they're very easy to get. You can find them anywhere. Vitamin D, of course. A lot of people aren't out in the sun enough. Summertime is maybe a different story, but vitamin D is definitely a big one to get that nutrients in. Vitamin C, great with keeping your cells healthy. Definitely good for your skin, blood, etc. And then omega-3, fish oils. If you're not regularly eating fish, you need those healthy fats in you. So that is super, super important to get that omega-3 in. I recommend those three always to everybody who always asks me. And I've seen great improvement with it, and it's definitely important. I think especially if you're trying to keep your body healthy, all that kind of stuff, definitely important. But once again, just our opinion, just what we suggest based off of our own personal experience and what others have found success in that we've recommended for.
That's just like he said, it's just a recommendation, all right? That's what works for us and for the majority of our clients and friends and what we have learned, okay? Something, a little interesting that, like, if you go to a supplement store, they're gonna sell you everything,
Yep.
You're gonna get out of there with a basket with, like, about 18, 20 items that you're supposed to take
samples.
daily. Yeah,
Yep.
and supposed to take daily and take this in the morning, take this on lunch, take this, that is time for everything. That is all the supplements kind of work. I mean, a couple they are like a little gimmicks here and there.
Right.
But like Gabe said, the essentials, yes, the vitamin D is key. You know what I mean? I don't, depending where you live, right? If you're in Florida, maybe you get a little more sun than us.
Right.
We in Jersey. You know what I mean? So we suffer down here, you know what I mean? Maybe I don't know where you are, so you might not be on the sun all the time. If you have a regular job, a 9 to 5, that's 8-9 hours of your day that you're not on the sun. So
Right.
you're definitely not getting enough. Okay, so vitamin D is very important. So here's a couple of the ones I think is important. Okay, I would definitely start my day with a multivitamins. Okay, multivitamins in the morning. You can cover up a lot of your essentials. Okay, that you need. A lot of people they are not big on vitamins because they think if you just eat it's enough.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's not true. Your body cannot take everything on just from eating regular food, and especially if you are on your fitness journey, you are already exception.
Right.
You're not a regular person.
Right.
Okay, a regular person they don't work out. You know that.
Right.
So if you are on this fitness journey, you are different already. So yes, you need to protect your body. You need to help yourself to reach your optimal,
Right.
reach your highest.
Your
okay?
peak, yep.
Your peak. So yes, multivitamins in the morning. I would say it. Even before multivitamins, a lot of people don't like it, but a apple cider vinegar, that shit goes a long way.
Yes, it
okay,
does.
sorry my language. Apple cider vinegar goes a long way.
Yes.
If you are, like, for example, in a cut like he is, even a bulking space, you know what I mean? Apple cider vinegar really helps with your gut. It's a whole overall Google. There is so much studies on
many
it.
benefits.
So much benefits.
Yes.
It's an overall very good thing to do it.
And if you don't like just taking the straight apple cider vinegar, they have capsules, gummies, whatever.
Exactly.
It's an easy pill to swallow for so many great trade-offs,
Vitamin D for sure, but and then I also love omega-3. Okay, omega-3 has so much benefits on it. I think everybody should be on it. Okay, and then we can talk about so many other things. One at the gym, I do love amino acids. Okay, branch chain amino acids. Like I said, your body don't take all the amino acids, all the nutrients that you need just from food. So we gotta supplement, right? That's what we talk about. We're talking about supplementation.
Right.
We need to supplement with some those vitamins that we're talking about right now because our body not gonna do it. So just finish it up again. Definitely vitamin D. Okay. Just like Gabe said, omega-3. My take was apple cider vinegar and also a multivitamin. Okay. I think with those. We should be good to go.
Yeah.
Of course, there is little things here and there. If you are on a booking phase, if you are trying to grow, creatine is pretty cool.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like do some research on it. Monohydrated, if you ask me, but you can also do some study on it, and they have some good stuff there too.
100%. Well, that was it. That was our 5 questions for this time for episode 1. Like I said, list any questions that you might have. Either contact us directly, put it in the comments, hit us up on Instagram, whatever. But we're going to look at them. We're going to delegate. We're going to come together again. And we're going to try to keep pumping these out so that we can keep better informing you as to how to be the best version of yourself in the gym.
And by the way, don't come at us. You know what I mean? We just have a good time here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We are two trainers, very passionate about what we do,
Yes.
and we just trying to help everybody. You know what I mean? So if we're saying something that you don't agree or something that doesn't make sense, please write it down.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But this is really just for fun, just as information. DM us or write it down. We're here to help everybody. We are trying to do something here that we haven't done it before. We have so much knowledge that we want to share.
Exactly.
We should push our path forward, and that's why we're here. Okay?
Exactly. Yep, 100%. All right. Till next time, guys. We'll see you then.
Peace out.